Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys a predictions video. I know it's been a while since I said that. I haven't done a predictions video since probably pre Massasoit Wrestling Corner, Aftershock Corner / Wrestling Rundown days. It's been that long since I've done a predictions video, which is just crazy to think about that I haven't done a predictions video in that long. But here I am doing it now. So let's just get right into it. I'm doing Impact Wrestling, Hard to Kill. It airs, at least where I am anyways, 7:30 p.m. EST is when the countdown show starts, and then obviously it's going to air live at 8 p.m. EST. So I'm pretty excited to sit down and watch it. I figured obviously I want to do my predictions. Now, I really wasn't planning on getting it out there the day of the show, but I haven't been able to watch like Impact because we had a snowstorm, and I just had to get caught up on other stuff first before Impact, so it's pretty much why you're seeing this video a little late. But better late than never, right? So yeah, I'm actually pretty damn excited about this show. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch the show live because AEW's Battle of the Belts starts at 8 p.m. EST and goes till 9 o'clock, at least where I am. So, and I'd rather watch that just because I'm more invested into that show right now. And I could try to watch this show on delay, but I remember the last time I tried to watch a pay-per-view live on delay that wasn't on like the WWE Network / Peacock or anything, was AEW's Fight for the Fall in 2019. And what ended up happening was when the show ended actually live, I hadn't caught up to it yet. So the feed shut off, and I had to wait like a half hour to actually finish the show. And instead of doing that, I'd rather just watch the show on delay. I'm still going to buy it on pay-per-view and everything and watch it then. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, yeah, unfortunately I won't be able to watch the show live, but I will watch it. I'll try to have a review up for it at some point. It's probably looking like that I'll have the review up probably Tuesday or Wednesday, because I still gotta watch Wrestle Kingdom 16 and I haven't seen it yet. And since Impact and New Japan's in a partnership, I don't want to take the risk of there being a spoiler, because I remember the last time I didn't watch a New Japan show was Battle in the Valley, and that's when Tomohiro Ishii won the Never Openweight Championship from Jay White. And of course I didn't watch the show, and he ended up winning the belt, and he came out with the championship on Dynamite. So I'd rather watch Wrestle Kingdom first, and then I'll review that, and then I'll watch this show, and then review that. So that's kind of how that's going to work. Considering the fact that Wrestle Kingdom's like 3 years long, it's probably going to take me a while to watch that. Because the 2 nights are both 6.5 hours long, which is just crazy. I thought they would be shorter, but I was mistaken. But anyhow, that's besides the point. Let's talk about Impact Wrestling, Hard to Kill. I'm really excited about this show. I think Impact Wrestling's product probably since, I know it's been since 2018, but I didn't trust it because every time Impact Wrestling gains some momentum, they'll make a really dumb booking decision and be really bad. But Impact Wrestling's pretty much knocked it out of the park since then. I started kind of watching it again when it went on Access TV, and I really enjoyed it. Now, obviously, I kind of stopped again. And then when AEW parted with him, I started picking it up, but I pretty much been watching since then. And I really enjoy Impact product every week. They have great matches every week, great storylines, great characters, and I'm really excited about this show. And I think the best way, since it's been a while since I've actually talked about Impact, because obviously I'm at MIA on YouTube, I'll run through the matches, explain how the matches came to be, and then give my predictions on them, and that would be that. So let's get right into it. I should mention one match now that's not happening is the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match between the Inspiration and the Influence, because the Inspiration came in contact with COVID, so they canceled the match. Which is obviously makes complete sense because you don't want people getting COVID and stuff. So obviously I'm glad they took the right precautions and stuff. And I think it's best to save that match than risk everybody's health. So I think that makes complete sense to do it that way. Um, but yeah, let's get right into this show. I'll run through the matches. I'll start with the pre-show match, which was originally scheduled to be Trey Miguel defending the X Division Championship against Steve Macklin, but they've changed that. Now that's on the main show, which I'm happy about. I think that match actually deserves to be on the main show. I mean, I know it's not like the WWE pre-show where they don't treat it like it matters. Impact actually treats their pre-shows of importance, but I'd rather see that match on the main show. So instead, now we're gonna have a fatal four-way match between Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Jake Stumpton, and Laredo Kid. And I'd imagine that the winner of this match would get some type of opportunity, whether it be at the digital media or X Division title. Probably the X Division title, because we've seen these guys at least at one point or another challenge for that championship. So pretty excited about that. I think there's going to be a hell of a fatal four-way match. All these guys are amazingly talented. We've seen them all mix up with each other at one point or another. As for who I think will win this match, it's really tough to predict. The only ones I can really see winning are Chris Bay or Ace Austin. And I'm going to go with Chris Bay. I think he's going to end up getting the win with help from Hikuleo from Bullet Club and stuff. So I think Chris Bay will win. There's really no storyline behind this match. Chris Bay and Laredo Kid did recently just have a match, so that, I guess that kind of ties in. But I'm really excited about that four-way. I think that's going to be a hell of a match. And obviously I can understand why they threw that together, because they didn't expect that they were going to have to. So then we have the first match on the show. It's going to be for the Ring of Honor World Championship. It's going to be Jonathan Gresham defending against Chris Sabin. Now, obviously, this makes sense because Chris Sabin, has been a pillar for Ring of Honor for, a few years and stuff. He's been there and back and everything. He's like an original. And obviously, with Ring of Honor's future being in question, they're supposed to come back in 2020. Well, it is 2022, but they're supposed to come back in April for Supercard of Honor. But that may not be the case. But I like the fact that they're going to keep the ROH Championships lineages and just have them defended on various shows. We've seen this happen at some point. Deonna Purrazzo's going to defend, well, not defend, but going to go for the ROH title against Roxy. And, at some point, FTR is going to challenge probably the Briscoes for the ROH tag title. So I like the fact that they're going to keep ROH's legacy going, because it, quite frankly, it deserves it. I feel bad that ROH had to shut down, because they actually, from what I hear, tried to make a good product and stuff. And then, obviously it just didn't work out. But maybe if they shut down, they can kind of restart. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm excited about this match. I think this could be, a very good title match. This could be a sleeper match on the show. And obviously this is Jonathan Gresham's first title defense, because he just won the title recently at Final Battle, defeating Jay Lethal. So I'm excited to see this match. The only thing I wish is they would have done some type of promo or something, like build into the match, like had Chris Sabin say on Impact, talking about his history with ROH and how he's excited to carry the legacy, something small like that. Because they just are kind of going to go out there and have a match, but whatever. As for who wins, I don't see Jonathan Gresham losing the championship in his first title defense. I think he's going to retain the title. I really wouldn't complain at all if Chris Sabin did win the championship, considering the fact that it would kind of be huge, considering the fact that he's an Impact Wrestling star. The title would guarantee to be on the show every week, and you can go out and have kick-ass matches with the title, but I think Jonathan Gresham is going to retain the championship. It's pretty cool that they have the old ROH title, by the way, too. I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah, Jonathan Gresham to retain the ROH World Championship against Chris Sabin. Then we have the 10-man Hardcore War. It will be the Good Brothers and Violent by Design taking on Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Heath, and Rhino. There's a lot of storylines in this match. Obviously Eric Young and Eddie Edwards have a history from when they were going for the Impact World Championship together, where Eric Young dethroned them and everything. Eric Young and Rich Swann have a history from when Rich Swann beat him for the title and Eric Young nearly retired him and everything like that. And as a recent, Rhino was once a part of Violent by Design, but he recently broke away from the group, and Heath returned and he teamed up with him when they defeated Violent by Design and Bound for Glory. The Good Brothers and Rich Swann and Willie Mack have a history from their tag title matches. And as a recent, the Violent by Design and the Good Brothers have formed a business alliance with each other. Where they're going to take everybody out. And I'm excited for Hardcore War. It's pretty much Lethal Lockdown, except there's no cage. It's just a hardcore match. Carl Anderson just defeated Heath to gain the man advantage, so obviously that makes sense because the heels always get the man advantage. As for who wins this, I'm gonna say the baby faces win. And I think there's going to be some type of miscommunication between the Good Brothers and Violent by Design, which causes them to lose, and that could go to a future tag title match on like TV or something between the Good Brothers and Violent by Design. Just because I think that's going to happen. Just because with the way the storyline's playing out and everything, you could just kind of see that happening. So I think that's going to be what happens. I think the baby faces are going to win this match. I think this is going to be a hell of a hardcore war match. I always enjoy these type of matches. Then we have, for the first time ever, an inaugural Knockouts Ultimate X match where the winner would become the number one contender for the Impact Knockouts Championship. I think this is going to be huge because they've never done an Ultimate X match with the Knockouts. I think it's pretty cool that the Knockouts are finally getting one. I'm pretty excited about it. The participants... Chelsea Green, Jordan Grace, Lady Frost, Rosemary, Tasha Steelz, and it was originally meant to be Rachel Ellerin, but she was taken out of the match and replaced by Alicia Edwards. I'm not really sure why. They didn't really say, and I don't want to speculate on it until I hear otherwise, like if it's a COVID thing, because, I don't want to say it is COVID until she herself comes out and says that, so we have to wait and see on that one. This is going to be a hell of a match, though. I think everyone's going to bring something unique to the table. I like the people that they've chosen to go in it. The only complaint I have is that maybe they should have done qualifying matches instead of just announcing the competitors. Because I feel like, they just kind of pulled names out of a hat and did it. So that's the only thing I wish would have happened, but whatever. Now, as for who wins this, I think it's going to depend on who wins the Knockouts title match. Because... obviously it depends on if they want to pair up face, heel, and stuff. But Mickie James could still win, and you could still have a babyface challenger for the title because, we've seen that happen. I think Mickie James can kind of work with anyone. Usually when it comes to these multi-man matches, though, I try to do process of elimination. I don't think Jordan Grace is going to win this because I think... she's going to be mainly focused on defending the digital media title, and I think that should be the case. I don't see Alicia Edwards winning this. I think she's just kind of there to fill in spot. I could see Tasha Steelz, but I don't see that happening. I don't think Lady Frost will win this. I think she'll have a good showing, but not necessarily win the match. So it comes down to Chelsea Green or Rosemary, and I think Chelsea Green's going to come out with a win. I could easily see that happening, considering the fact that she's been getting a lot of TV time lately, and I'd be totally down to seeing Mickie James or Deonna Purrazzo face her. They both work. Obviously Mickie James would be that veteran, and it'd be a nice match to see. And obviously Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo have a history because they were technically a tag team in NXT, and never really got the opportunities to showcase that on the main roster. So that would also work just as well. So I'm going to say Chelsea Green becomes the number one contender to the Knockouts Championship. Then we have the 3 actual championship matches on the Impact side. It's Trey Miguel defending the X Division Championship against Steve Maclin. And if Steve Maclin loses, he can't challenge for the X Division Championship as long as Trey Miguel is the champion. I really enjoyed this storyline where the whole thing is Trey Miguel keeps beating Maclin, but he doesn't necessarily beat him. He always pins or submits somebody else because it's always a triple threat match when they face off. Like when he won the title, he pinned El Phantasmo. When he retained it, against him, he pinned Laredo Kid. So originally, Scott D'Amore wasn't going to give him any more opportunities. So then Steve Maclin pretty much kidnapped him to get this opportunity, and that got Trey Miguel so enraged. He went to the executive Gail Kim to get him to book this match, and she made the claim on Impact this week that if Steve Maclin loses, he doesn't get to challenge for the title as long as Miguel's champion. Now, I like both wrestlers. I think they could both be good X Division champions. I would prefer Trey Miguel keeps the title because I think you're going to get better X Division championship matches with him holding the title. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Steve Maclin is going to become the new X Division champion and keep his monster undefeated streak going and everything. I think that would really fit with this character to be the X Division champion. He would be unique for a champion. I would just personally like to see Trey Miguel win because I think you'd get better X Division title matches with him as the champ. But we'll have to wait and see on that. But Steve Maclin's my pick to become the new X Division champion. Then we have the Texas Death Match for the Impact Knockouts Championship. It's Mickie James defending against Deonna Purrazzo. Obviously, this is a rematch from Bound for Glory from when Mickie James dethroned Deonna Purrazzo of the Knockouts title. And then recently, Deonna Purrazzo showed up and laid out Mickie James at turning point and invoked a rematch clause. And now it's led to this match. And it's gotten so personal now where it's a Texas Death Match, which is basically a last woman standing match. But since the show is airing in Texas, forget where in Texas. I'm on Wikipedia. I just look it up. It's going to take place in Dallas, Texas, at the Bomb Factory. They're probably going, obviously they're calling it a Texas Death Match. I lost my train of thought there. As for who wins, I think this is an easy title retention for Mickie James. I guess they could put the belt back on Deonna, so that way when she faces Roxy, it would be title versus title. Deonna defending that title against Roxy's ROH title. But I don't really necessarily think you need to do that for a couple of reasons. The first reason being that I don't really need to see Deonna hold the title again. She just lost it recently, and I really don't want to see her hold the title for a while because she's had that title for so long. She got kind of stale as champion. So I would prefer not to see her hold the title. Second, you don't need to do title versus title with the Knockouts title because she's got the Reina de Reinas championship, so you could easily just put that title on the line against Roxy, and it would work just fine. Third, they recently on SmackDown last night just announced that Mickie James is going to be in the Royal Rumble match. And I think it's best for business if she comes out, at the Royal Rumble where a lot of people would be watching it, and she comes out with the Knockouts Championship. I think that would benefit Impact a lot, and I'm really excited to see that. I'm going to talk more about that when you should already see it, record the wrestling rundown when we talk about Mickie James being in the hunt in the Royal Rumble match and stuff anyways. But I think you have Mickie James retain the championship for all those reasons that I just said. Then we have the main event. It's going to be a three-way match for the Impact World Championship. It's going to be Moose defending against Matt Cardona and W. Morrissey. This stems from Bound for Glory when Matt Cardona and Moose were the last two in the Collar Shot Gauntlet, and Matt Cardona came this close to beating Moose, but Moose obviously came victorious, and then Moose cashed it in later in the night against Josh Alexander, which I actually forgot to do predictions for a match because I just skipped right over it, so I'll do that after this match. And, obviously, Moose has been a fighting champion and stuff. He's been willing to do all these tactics to keep the title. W. Morrissey and Moose were an alliance, and Moose had kept promising W. Morrissey that if he took out his opponents, he would give him title matches, but never followed through with them. And Moose helped W. Morrissey defeat Matt Cardona at Turning Point, and then obviously it led to Matt Cardona pinning Moose in a tag match, and then W. Morrissey ended the alliance and laid out Moose, so it led to this triple threat match. And the whole thing is Moose has been really trying to get under Matt Cardona's skin, saying that he's never had a world title match. He's been mid Cardona, which is obviously mid a reference to him being in the mid card and everything like that. And then obviously you had the contract signing where he accidentally laid out Chelsea Green with a chair. So there's a lot of things going on in this match. I would have preferred it to be a one-on-one match between Matt Cardona and Moose, just because I think the storyline's kind of going in that direction anyways. Like, W. Morrissey has done stuff, but he hasn't really factored into their storyline. But I think this is going to build up to a one-on-one match in the future between them. As for who wins, I think this is an easy title defense for Moose. I think he's going to keep the title until he gets dethroned by Josh Alexander at like Slammiversary or Bound for Glory this October. So that's just the easiest storyline to tell. But I do think this is going to build up to a future one-on-one match between Matt Cardona and Moose. I think we're either going to get it at the next exclusive event or on a future episode of Impact. So there you have it. So let's go to the match we forgot to predict for. That's the match I'm actually really looking forward to, and that's Josh Alexander versus Jonah. Let me make sure I got the name right. Yeah, Jonah. This stems from Turning Point when Jonah debuted and completely laid out Josh Alexander and put him on the injury list pretty much. And Josh Alexander demanded this match, and he got it. Jonah said he did this because he wanted to prove who the top dog around here was. And he just recently again laid him out, Josh Alexander, and put him through a table. So Josh Alexander is coming into this match hurt. And makes me kind of question who's going to win, because it could go either way. You could use this match to build up Josh Alexander as a future challenger to Moose. Or you could have Jonah just wreck Josh Alexander. Since it's his first match of the company, you want to have him make a big impact, no pun intended. So what better way to do that than just by having him destroy Josh Alexander, who was putting on killer matches in the X Division and just recently won a world championship. And I think that's going to be the case. I think Jonah's going to defeat Josh Alexander fairly easily. He has an easy out, too, because he's coming into the match hurt with, injuries to his ribs and things like that. So I think I don't think it'll be a complete squash, but I think Jonah's going to easily put away Josh Alexander and take advantage of the injured ribs. And it actually benefits Jonah, because he'll look like a beast just destroying Josh Alexander. And the most important thing is you have to keep Josh Alexander away from Moose as long as you can for the Impact World title. I think, Slammiversary, Bound for Glory, probably Slammiversary, he's going to become the champion again and face Moose and beat him for the title. But you need to find things for him to do up until then. And I think you can keep this program going. You could have Jonah just completely wipe out Josh Alexander, him take some time off. And then when he comes back, he can just beat Jonah. You could even have him come back at like Slammiversary and defeat Jonah. And then, obviously you build to Bound for Glory with Moose 1 year after Moose took the title from him and everything. So it works. But those are my predictions for how to kill. I repeat them since I like to do that at the end of the video. So I predict that Chris Bay is going to win the pre-show match. I predict that Jonathan Gresham is going to retain the ROH World title. I predict that Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Heath, and Rhino are going to win Hardcore War. Jonah is going to defeat Josh Alexander. Chelsea Green is going to win the Ultimate X match. Steve Macklin is going to become the new X Division champion, fortunately. Mickey James is going to retain the Knockouts Championship, and Moose is going to retain the World Championship. So those are my predictions for Impact Hard to Kill. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do plan on doing other videos in the recent future. You're going to see today the wrestling rundown where we'll talk about everything that's going on lately in wrestling. I'm going to review Wrestle Kingdom sometime next week, and I'm going to review this show at sometime next week. And then we're going to launch a new show, the Aftershock Corner, Top 5 and Flop 5s, and I'll talk more about what that show will be about on the Wrestling Rundown. I mean, if you saw the I'm Back video, I kind of went into a little bit of detail about it, but I'll go into even more detail about it on that show. And then obviously check out the O on the Talkinator and CM Brothers channel for future videos and obviously past videos. I plan on making a comeback on those channels probably within the next month or so. So that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.